Assalamu alaikum grade 9, it's Ms. Sajjad. Today we will continue our lesson about chapter 3, transport and distribution of nutrients and oxygen gas to organs. So this is activity 3, cardiovascular accidents. In this video, we will identify the clinical signs of an infarct and deduce its origin, relate the infarct of a myocardium to bad cardiac blood supply, define myocardial infarction, list 4 main factors that lead to an infarction, and finally, list risk factors that lead to cardiovascular disease. So, if you meet a person experiencing stomach pain and nausea, dizziness, chest pain, sweating, shortness of breath, numbness, and paleness, which means that they're turning yellow, you should actually contact an ambulance as soon as possible to get this person transferred to the nearest hospital. What happens when the paramedics arrive? They will actually perform an ECG on this person to try to see if the cardiac muscle is working properly, so to detect their cardiac activity. What might be happening is this person might be experiencing something called a myocardial infarction. Now, what is exactly a myocardial infarction? To be able to understand that, let's revise some important things about the heart. First of all, we have to remember that the heart's main function is to pump blood around the body. To the heart, we have a lot of blood vessels connected to it, and we have a special blood supply connected to the heart that supplies the heart cells with oxygen and nutrients. These are called the coronary vessels. So what happens during an infarction is that we have insufficient blood flow to the heart muscle from the narrowing of the coronary artery that might cause the chest pain. So what happens is that we have something called plaque. Plaque is formed from fat and cholesterol deposits inside the walls of the arteries, and what happens is that a blood clot might form if the walls rupture, exposing the plaque and finally blocking the flow of blood, which means that we will not have blood supplied to the different parts of the heart, causing this infarction, usually leading to the death of the cells which are prevented from receiving blood. So let's look in more detail how the plaque actually builds up. So here we have a healthy artery, we have normal blood distribution. Then we have the plaque. So remember, the plaque is due to the formation or the deposition of fat and cholesterol in the walls of the artery. What happens then? The plaque ruptures from the walls of the artery, and we have blood cells sticking to it, therefore obstructing the flow of blood. So as you can see, the blood here, it cannot continue its path. So what happens is that everything after the obstruction is deprived of oxygen and nutrients, usually leading to the death of the cells that are usually supplied by this blood. So here we're comparing a normal artery to an artery with plaque buildup. As you can see here, the artery with the plaque buildup has a narrowed pathway. So what we just discussed is known as a myocardial infarction, which is known as a cardiac accident that results from poor blood supply to the cardiac muscles. Now remember, if there's total obstruction of the blood to the cardiac muscles, this will actually lead to the death of the cells supplied by this blood. So 4 main factors contributing to the formation of an infarct or to the incident of an infarct are high fat diet. So if you have a diet high in fats, meaning things such as fast foods, eating a lot of oils and ghee, stress, smoking, and lack of exercise. Factors that lead to cardiovascular disease include obesity, which means being overweight, inactivity, such as having a sedentary lifestyle, genetics, which means inheriting different genes from your parents that might be carrying factors for the formation of cardiovascular disease, smoking, diabetes, and having high blood pressure. Myocardial infarcts can be usually prevented by maintaining a healthy lifestyle, such as having a healthy diet, exercising, choosing the right food. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.